Welcome, my name is Mathew Zupan, and today is the beginning of your new journey. I want to first of all thank you for purchasing the three avatars, and I'm very excited about the information that I'm going to be bringing to you. This is something that's been going through my mind for a long time. I wanted to be able to share this with you, and I think by the time we get done, you're going to be looking at um, how to do your business marketing and your targeting for your customers, your potential customers, in an entirely different way. Now, where did I come up with the idea of the three avatars? Well, today's video is the first avatar. So we're going to be going over, like I said, we're going to be going over several videos here. You got the three avatar series, the three videos, the three avatars, and each one, we're going to go over each one separately, and we're going to call the first one Athos, okay, after the Three Musketeers. So you've got the first avatar, and then we've got the Three Musketeers. Now, why do I call it that? Well, after I came up with the idea, the concept, and I've never heard anyone else talk about it this way. All I've ever heard was when marketing, you target your best customer first, your second best customer second, and your third best customer third. And I just don't believe that's true. Okay, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason. So that would mean there are three avatars. Well, I started on this whole avatar journey when I was trying to figure out who my best customer was for my business. Who is my best customer? And it just kept going through my head. How can I define my best customer? So I read a lot about avatars, and then not long ago, I was given a book, and they had a whole section on building your avatar, identifying your avatar, and then marketing to your avatar, how to address the whole avatar issue. But it was always a singular. It was always a plural. Find your best customer. And the word avatar is being replaced for customer. And I got to thinking about that, and then I got over and over and over, and I'm thinking, you know what? That's just not right. There's something wrong there. And so then I started identifying, okay, I'm trying to figure out who my avatar is. What is the best customer? And it talks about getting into the head, finding out who your best customer is, how old they are, where they live, what kind of jobs do they have, things like that. That's your avatar, the person you're trying to target. And I think uh, something happened along the way when I got to thinking about that, and then all of a sudden, this thought hit me. The first avatar. So I'm going to draw a different picture here going on in my little thing going on here. And I started doing what was called, I called the businessman's journey. Okay. And in the businessman's journey, I had this picture of a businessman, a person who wants to be a businessman, someone who has a great idea, the entrepreneurial type of businessman, brand new person. Maybe they've been in business for a while, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they're struggling, and maybe they're just trying to figure out what they want to do. And so I got thinking about this first person right here, this uh, entrepreneur, this business owner. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to, one, we're going to call him Athos, because this, the first avatar, is uh, in the books. I grew up with the Three Musketeers, and I don't know why people call it the Three Musketeers. It was just a lot more popular than the Three Guardsmen. That was a little bit boring. But Alexander Dumas is one of my favorite writers, and he never wrote the book Three Musketeers. They changed the title somewhere along the way, and I think it was in the translation into English. But it really is the Three Guardsmen, and there were only three in the beginning. There was Athos, Porthos, and Aramis. And so when you first start reading about Athos, you got to think of who Athos is. The avatar of Athos is, uh, well, Athos was a leader. Okay, so what was Athos? He had leadership qualities. He was a leader of the three. Every time you watch the movies, and even when you read the books, the other two followed his lead. So he was the deep thinker. So another characteristic of this avatar is he was a deep thinker. Another characteristic, when you read the books, he was also very extremely passionate. He was very passionate about what he believed. And four, he was very faithful. Um, in to his friends and everything like that, and he was faithful to the king, who he swore to protect. So he had a lot of qualities that were going on, and a business owner, immediately someone who wants to be a business owner is already stepping up, and they're stepping up into a role of leadership. So they have to come out of the normal thinking, the normal way of thinking in the world, which is go to school so you can get a good job, work 40 years for somebody, retire, have kids, buy a house, retire, and then do whatever you want afterwards. The business owner is thinking something different. He's thinking, man, I know I can do something. I know I can do something better. I can do something bigger. I want to help more people. So he's got a desire in his heart, something going on there. There's a deeper passion inside of him to that business owner and that uh, leader, that avatar. So some of these characteristics, and you might find more. And if you really study the Three Musketeers, and this is why I compare this whole series to the Three Musketeers, and you'll hear me refer to it often, is because each one of the Musketeers had individual uh, characteristics that made them different or special. And of course, Athos, he was also the oldest, possibly. It seemed like in the books that he was the oldest. He had a little bit more wisdom going on. He had lived a little bit more life. And so he had some experience that he was able to share, and the other two were a little bit younger, maybe not by much, but a little bit younger, and they didn't have quite as much experience. And so Athos was able to share that experience, and he wanted to share that experience and develop that relationship. The first thing that happens to a business owner when they go into business is they come against the wall. The wall, um, you can call it the wall of the world, the wall of tradition, the wall of saying, no, you can't do that. Okay? There's lots of things, and every wall has multiple bricks in the wall, and each brick represents something that's trying to stop you from doing what you dream about doing, what you think maybe you should be doing, and whatever. So you've got your bricks going on there. And what is this wall? The cumulative sum of this wall is your mind. And as a business owner and an entrepreneur, what you want to be doing is living what I call permission-based entrepreneurship. Okay? Every day, you're the one. You can't wait around for other people. They're in the wall. They're going to say, no, you can't do that. Oh, you're too old for that. What makes you think you can do that? Okay? And so the first thing you do is you want to get up every morning and say, I am a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I have something of value to offer. I want to do more, and I'm going to do more. and I want to give more. I want to help more people. And so you have to battle that mind every single day. So that's your first wall. That's the internal, inside you. Your your mind, you have to give yourself permission to say, I'm going to do this. And then what happens is your mind is going to continue to fight against you, even. Because if you've been raised in a certain way and told that you should have to get a job and you should do this and you should do that, and all of a sudden you want to break away from the norm, you want to own your own business? Well, who said you could own your own business? And then there's other people. They're going to be saying, we didn't really give you permission to do your own business. You need to just get a job and just settle down and just, live the lifestyle, have some kids, buy a house, retire at 65, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what happens. And then you got all these people on the outside when you say, hey, I'm going to go into business, I'm going to do this. And maybe you do. And for a couple people say, hey, that's great, go for it. But in the meantime, why don't you get a job? In the meantime, but we don't really give you permission to do that, so don't really spend too much time on it. It's a great idea. That's a good kind of thought. Keep that in the back of your mind. And then somewhere in the mind starts thinking, can I do this? And who am I to want to be a business owner? Who am I? Am I good enough? Do I have what I have? Is somebody going to value it? Do they really want what I have to give? And so you're going to be battling that all the time. And this is one of those things you're not going to get in school. They're not telling you about that battle back and forth. This avatar is the very most important avatar of all of them. Because you're always going to come back to this avatar right here. You're always going to come back. Doesn't matter where you go in your journey, but you're going to always have to come back and face this avatar. And that avatar is always going to be facing that same wall. Now, either you're going to be able to, you can do multiple things. You can agree with what the mind finally says and give up. Give up your dream, give up your goal, give up all of those other things. You can build a ladder and go over it. You can try and go around it. You can go through it. Or you can dig a hole and go under it. But, some of those ways, 3 out of 4 of those ways, are to get around your mind. To stop thinking the thoughts that you're thinking. You're no good. Who are you? Nobody really wants what I have. I'm not valuable enough. I just can't do it. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm all of these things. You got to battle. And you really, yeah, you will. Some of you will. You'll be saying, you know what? I'm 55 years old. Who am I to want to go all of a sudden go into business? I don't know. I've never been into business before. I've worked for somebody else all my life. But I really want to. I really know. I've got this burning inside me that says I can do more, I am worth more, I want to give more, and I want to help people. So you have a burning desire to give, and that's a leadership position. And you've been thinking about these things, deep thinking, and you're passionate about what's in your heart and what you want to do, and you just don't know how to do it, and you're trying to get over those struggles. But the first thing every business owner and entrepreneur wants to do is say, stop all of that for just a second. Take a deep breath. Look themselves in the mirror every morning if you have to, and say, I am a business owner. I have something to give. I want to help people, and I can do this. I'm not too old. I'm not too young. Maybe you're only 18 years old, and you want to do this. Well, let me tell you a story. My son was 18 years old and he didn't want to go to college. So what did he do? At 18, he went into business for himself. He started going into business for himself. He said, "This is what I want to do. I got to make up my mind to do it. I give myself permission to do it. And nobody's going to tell me that I'm too young to do it because I'm not too young." There have been younger people than myself who have gone into business and done great things. There are older people, of course. Well, he had to work extra hard to prove himself that he could do it, but he had to start in his mind that he wasn't too young. He had to believe it first, inside. So that first step of your avatar, on your avatar's journey, is you got to believe it. You got to believe in yourself first. And as you're thinking about all the things that you want to do, now here's what where you want to go with this. In creating your avatar, you want to write down the characteristics of your avatar. And so this first avatar I call the avatar of you. Okay? So this is the avatar of you. You have decided to step out and be a leader. Because what is a boss? A boss man. The boss man is the leader. He's the one that's going to set the pace. If he starts hiring people into his business, or if he's just trying to get customers, he wants to find people that are going to follow him into his business, buy his products. He's got to be able to lead. He's got to be able to take a leadership role. He's got to be able to think on multiple levels, like that deep thinker of Athos. Where he's the accountant and he's the designer of his product, and then he's got to market his product, and then he's got to figure out a way how to get more customers and all of that. And we're going to be talking about the other avatars in a little bit. So the avatar of you is the most important one. Now these are just some of the points that I thought that Athos had, being one of the musketeers, and he was a great role model apparently in the books. But what you want to do is write down your characteristics. Okay? So, what are your characteristics? So now is the time for you to get that piece of paper out. If you have to, pause this video, stop what you're doing. Okay? We're going to just write that down. Characteristics. What are your characteristics right now? Okay, because what we're going to do is write down 3, 4, 5. What makes you want to be a business owner? What is it inside you that makes you want to be a business owner? Why do you not want to work in corporate America and work for somebody else, and all of those other things? You write down those characteristics, 3, 4, 5. You should be able to come up with 5 or 6, really, if you're really honest with yourself, if you're really thinking about it. Before you go anywhere in the business world, you have to know who you are and what you want. Then what I want you to do is, what are your characteristics? And then I want you to write down, maybe on a separate piece of paper, and this one you can put up and look at every single day. What is your, now hold on, it's not why. Not what is your why. Okay, people over and over and over are going to be talking about, oh, you gotta figure out what your why is. Why are you doing this? Okay, no, I want to know what your what is. What is your what? When you really think English grammatics and semantics, that's the one right there. What are you doing this for? And you might have to ask yourself this question multiple times. Um, and through that, to get to your what, you may have to ask what your why is. Okay, so why do you want this what? Why do you want this what? So write that down. 3. Okay. Why do you want this what? That's the end. That's the end thing right there. Why do you want it? Well, you might start off by saying, um, well, because I don't want to work for anybody else. Well, why not? We haven't gotten close to a what yet. What you're doing it for. So why don't you want to work for somebody else? Well, I don't like being constricted by time. I don't like someone telling me when I can't go to the bathroom, or what hours I have to work, and I don't like someone telling me that I have to work every holiday. Um, so that's why I don't like people telling me I have to work every holiday, or I have to come into work when it's blizzarding out and jeopardize my life or my vehicle just to earn, a few dollars an hour. What's worth that, really? Okay, so I don't want to jeopardize my car. One of my whys is this. One of my whats. What? We'll get to the what. What? But why? I don't want to be told that I have to get up, and if I'm working a 7 to 3 shift or something like that, and it's blizzarding snow and the roads are icy and everyone's bad. I don't want some corporate person in Florida telling me I have to go out in that kind of weather and risk my vehicle, which is the only mode of transportation that I have getting back and forth to work, to take care of my family. Whoa, did you hear what I said? I don't want someone to tell me that I have to risk my vehicle. So that's kind of that I'm thinking of this. But the bottom line below that is, because it's the only form of transportation that I have of taking care of my family. What do I want to do? I want to be able to take care of my family better. Okay, because if I don't get to the what, I'm going to continually ask why. So the bottom line is the very last one. Why do you want to take care of your family better? Well, because I want them to have more than what I had. Well, why? Because this and this and this. And my final what is, I want to be able to be free enough to spend time with my family, because I never had that when I was growing up. My dad was always working. My mom worked 2 jobs, and then when they got divorced, I never saw my dad, but maybe a few days every year. And mom worked for 2.35 an hour, 2.10 an hour back in the day while we were growing up, trying to put food on our table. I hardly ever saw her growing up. All I saw was being handed. Remember, was being handed from relative to relative, so they could babysit us, so she could go and work and have a job and put food on our table. And you know, at the same time, she'd always try and come home, and I never wanted that for my kids. I never wanted that for my children. What did I want to do? I wanted to I want to be able to spend time with them, because I never got to spend time with my parents. I wanted more time. I wanted to be free enough to be able to do that. So you can't do that necessarily working in a regular job, or being told that you have to risk your life in a snowstorm for $10 an hour or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Risk the family vehicle that helps get us work, going back and forth, possibly put myself at risk by being out there on the roads and somebody else doesn't know how to drive in winter weather, which, spending the last 10 plus years in Oklahoma City, well, I grew up in Wisconsin. We knew how to drive in snow. But I refuse to go out in snow and ice because nobody in Oklahoma knows how to drive in snow and ice. And within the first couple hours of any half inch of snow, there would be over 400 accidents on the road. I didn't want to risk that. Risk destroying my car, risk not being able to work, getting injured or something like that. Just no, I had to get out of that really quick. So what did I want? I wanted the freedom to be able to work at my own job and have time so that I could spend with my family. And we got down to all of this. So you got why? Why do you want to spend time with your family? Because I never got to do that. And I wanted my kids to be able to do that. To be able to know who their dad was and who the mother was. So that was what I was doing it for. That's why I went into business, but what I wanted to accomplish was that reason. And so you have to come up with these things here. Now this is the now. And every avatar has 3 parts. Every avatar has 3 parts. So all the avatars that we're going to be talking about, you want to grab a hold. This is probably, again, the longest one, longest video lesson that I'm going to have on the avatar, because we're going to lay that foundation for what an avatar is. And you have the avatar of you in your past. You have the avatar of you, who you are right now. And if you really want to be successful as a business owner and entrepreneur, if you really want to do something different, make a difference, make a change, and if you've got this picture in your mind that if you keep doing what you're doing, it just eats you up inside. You know you have to do something different. You know that there is a burning inside you that if you actually didn't fulfill it, you're really going to be miserable. And even if you make a lot of money and you work really hard, you just feel empty because you didn't do what you really wanted to do. You wanted to help more people. You wanted to give. You had something special inside you. There is something inside you that you want to share and you want to give. And yeah, you might sell it as a product, but that's okay. You're benefiting people and you're helping people. So the avatar, you've got your past avatar. The avatar of you has 3 parts. The past avatar, this is who I was. This was me growing up. Okay, that past avatar really is the one that if you write down, he was a 9-year-old boy. I picture the avatar of a 9-year-old boy. And he's sitting in a chair looking out the window, and he's waiting, and he's waiting, and he's waiting. And it was the day that his father was supposed to come and pick him up, and they were supposed to go do something because his parents were divorced. And he waited. And then as the hours ticked by, and he sat there and he would get sad and he would get angry and he would get all those things. Then he would hear that dreaded phone on the wall. This was back when phones were still on the wall. And they only had a 3-foot phone cord. And then he would hear his mother talking in an angry tone for a few minutes, and she would slam the phone down. And she never had to say a word because I knew exactly what was said. That for some reason, my father couldn't come that day. That was the avatar. That is actually part of that little foundation that makes me want to do this over here. And, so there were many days like that. Those were the things that I pictured in my mind as I started to create my current avatar. My current avatar, so you picture the little boy and you picture the color of his hair and you picture what he was doing, whatever was going on. And then you picture you today. So write down yourself. Take a separate piece of paper, write them down separately. This is where I am today. This is my avatar of today. I'm, you're 35 years old, or you're 40, or you're 50, or you're 22, or you're 20. It doesn't matter. Or you're 65. It doesn't matter. You're not too old. You're never too old. Oh, you don't have enough time. You got plenty of time. You do have enough time. You don't have enough time if you don't start today. Okay, that's the thing. You won't have enough time if you don't start today. The only way to do something different is to start doing something different today. Otherwise, you're going to be doing the same thing in 5 years as you're doing today, and you're going to be just as miserable. Right now, you've got that one on your avatar list. I've got a burning desire. My avatar is, again, I'll use myself. Let's say my avatar is 55 years old, and he wants to. This is where I am right now. Here I am in my business, and let's say I work for somebody and I'm not satisfied with it, and all my life I've been trying to build up. I've been wanting to be that entrepreneur and finally giving myself permission. And so here I am. I've got a little bit of graying hair. I'm 55 years old. I make a certain amount of money. This is the kind of house that I live in. This is the kind of car that I drive right now. This is how much money I have in the bank. Okay, and you write down one point after another. Be very specific. Write each thing down separately. What does your avatar look like? What does he like to do? What does he do in his spare time? Does he go play golf? Is he a golfer? Does he sit and watch movies because he's not sure what else to do? What kind of movies does he watch? Does he watch action adventure? Something? Does he watch motivational videos? Any of those things? What does he spend his time doing? Your avatar. What do you do right now? Do you get off work at 5 o'clock and you go, oh man, thank God it's Friday? Does Sunday afternoon come around and you're just dreading the thought? So you've had from late Friday till Sunday afternoon to try and enjoy one day out of 7. And then halfway through Sunday, are you the one who's dreading going back to? There's something inside you that just wants something different. If you get to halfway through Sunday and you are dreading going back to Monday, and Monday becomes the worst day of your week because you have to go back, and if you think it's a drudge, if you think it's dreary and you can't stand it and it's a grind to your soul and you feel like it's just eating your heart out every time you have to go to this place that you call a job, because you don't feel like you're fulfilling what you know is inside you, then yeah, you might have a business entrepreneurial mind. And maybe it's time to let that mind go and give yourself permission to enter into that avatar. And the avatar, you're writing down all the characteristics. Yeah, I hate Friday. Oh, I love Friday at 5 o'clock. I get to go home and then what do? I sit and I watch a motivational video because man, they're just so cool, and I just dream about this, and then I might watch a movie or something, another episode of Bones or NCIS or whatever, go to bed and start my day all over again. And then I get halfway through Sunday, and down here on your list of your avatar of you, of who you are and what you're thinking right now, you've got, I just can't stand Monday. To be honest, I can't stand it. By Sunday afternoon, I start thinking about Monday. It starts to just create I just can't enjoy even the rest of Sunday because I'm already thinking tomorrow I got to go back to work. Tomorrow I got to do this thing. I got to go over it. And you writing down these things. These are the things blocking your mind right here. This is part of the mind. You haven't given yourself permission to move past these things. You accept the place where you are. You have a burning inside you. You know you want to do more. You want, there's more in you to give and to do, but you haven't given yourself permission to do it. So until you get past that part right there, you're not going to be able to get to all the rest. You may never see all the other things that could be possible if you just give yourself permission and say, you know what, I'm going to do it. Now, I'm not saying at this point that now you've given yourself permission. Let's say you have a job and it's not a bad job, and this is the problem. People get jobs, they aren't that bad. They pay a certain amount of money, or they keep them. They stay in the job and they don't jump out and make that leap, and they don't give themselves the permission to do it because they go, oh well, I get the benefits. Okay, well, make enough money and you pay for your own benefits. Okay, don't rely on somebody else to do these things for you. That's what being a business owner and an entrepreneur is all about. You have to be responsible. You have to give yourself permission to be responsible for the results as well. Okay, but you've got all of those things going on, and now you give yourself permission. You say, okay, I'm going to do this. We're going to move on. We're going to get through this wall yet. We're not quite there. We got to get through the avatar of you. And you've given yourself permission. And what I'm saying is do not just jump out and go into work the next day or the next Monday or the following Friday or whatever it is and say, I quit my job. I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? What I'm saying is you can start doing it. Now do what you have to do to get to where you can do what you want to do. Now you have a whole different purpose for going to work. And you could actually get to the point where you can enjoy going to work because you know that right now all of this that you're doing down here is funding all of this that you want to do. Until you get to the point where the thing that you want to do makes more or than what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. Nothing wrong with that. But now your mind is set free so that you can start saying, yeah, I can do this. I don't have to do it. And it doesn't have to be what's called a side hustle. Okay, this becomes your side hustle. I don't care if you're doing 70 hours a week in your job. That's becomes your side hustle. This becomes everything that consumes your mind, your thoughts, your actions. When you get off work on Friday, you're like, oh man, you're excited. Yeah, every night when you get home, you spend a couple hours instead of watching that Netflix, instead of just scrolling through Facebook randomly and doing everything. You start going through Facebook with purpose. You start instead of spending that hour on Netflix, you're studying something so that you can do your business, and you can start to offer your products or your service, and you can start learning how to help people, and you can start helping people, and you can start building your business. That's what happens when your mind gets set free. I can enjoy going to work every Monday with that kind of attitude. And because, hey, yeah, right now this is funding all of this. That's like getting investment capital. Somebody gives you investment capital. Well, yeah, you got to work for investment capital too. Okay, you know, people just don't give you money so you can just build your dream and not expect anything. So think of it as investment capital. Yeah, man, they're investing in this. They don't know it, but everything I'm doing here, man, is going right into there. If you've got extra, you're going right into there. You're building it. You've given yourself permission. Now you can get excited about doing this. I heard one time, and this is up to you, whatever you do. Until this, if you already have a job, until this, your business that you want to do, or you have a lot of money put away, makes 4 times more than what you're making now. Don't give up your don't give up your job. I don't quite agree with that philosophy, but that's one way to do it. Well, let's say you only make $4,000 a month. Okay, well, what do I want? I want my business to be at least bringing in $12,000 a month, $16,000 a month, before I just give up this job down here and say, okay, now I'm just gonna I've got to throw it all in. I've got to go all in. I just can't think about this anymore. Now the 70 hours down here that I was spending, if I did this in the hours that I had after work and on weekends, what can I do when I have all of those hours that I used to put in there into this? You following me now? How exciting that is. Now you just go for it, and there's going to be roadblocks, and as we go through each of the avatars, we're going to be talking about other things that, one, you're not going to get in school, but they're going to be along the way in your journey to reach the other avatars. Okay, so the greatest avatar of all of them at this point is the avatar of you. Now, that third section, we talked about the three, let's just call it the three different areas of your avatar. You've got the younger version of your avatar, who you were, what brought you to this point, and even how did where you were shape your thinking to bring you to this point of where you are. Now you're looking at where you are. This is where I am. This is why I'm still here. This has been my thinking so far. And now we know the types of thinking that we have to get past the mind, so that we can go into the third area of our avatar. And that third area of our avatar is the avatar of you in the future. What? This is the fun one. Okay, this is the vision, because you don't know. You can be very specific in the avatar of your past, the one that shaped you to bring you the way you are right now. You can write down point after point: your hair color, your eye color, where you live, what kind of car you drive, how much spendable income you have, do you have savings, do you have this, do you have that. Go through all the demographics that you can possibly think of, write down each one. You could have a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 things. Write it down. This is where I am right now. But now you're going to go over here and you're going to do a third one. And that's going to be what do I picture my avatar to look like? Even tomorrow. What's my avatar going to look like tomorrow? Okay? What's he going to look like in a year? Where do you want to go? That's that goal thing. And everyone talks about goal writing. And I like goal writing. I like to think of it more as just vision of self. And I'm not talking about your goals for your business. I'm talking about you. Where do you want to be here? Inside. In your mind. Where do you want to be? Okay? Where do you want to be in your heart? Where do you want to be in your spirit? Okay? Do you want to be you're at peace because now you're doing the thing that you want to do, the thing, and you want to help more and more people and do all of these other things, and we'll figure that out as we go along. But where do you want to be in 5 years? I tell you where I want to be. I know, in less than 5 years, I want to be sitting next to Tony Robbins. standing next to Tony Robbins on stage. And I want to hear Tony Robbins say, "Here's Mathew Zupan. I want to introduce him to the stage, and he's going to be sharing with you because he's been working all his life, and he's got all this experience, and he wants to share that with you so that he can somehow bless your lives, bless your heart, bless your future, bless the vision of the person that you have for yourself in the future." I uh, I want to keep this very simple, but um, in my faith, there's the picture I have of myself. And, for years I struggled. Why would God want me? And I heard this story once about Michelangelo. And Michelangelo, he did the statue of David, and he did lots of other statues. He considered himself a sculptor, not a painter. He's the one who did the Sistine Chapel um, in Italy, and he did all kinds of things. And it was actually funny because he was commissioned to do the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling in the Sistine Chapel, by Raphael, who was a contemporary of his. And the Pope actually went to Raphael first and said, "Would you do this?" And he said, "Oh, Raphael had to struggle with that because he knew that that would be such a difficult thing." And so what he did is he was trying to ruin and destroy his contemporary, who he thought was his greatest competition, and he thought his greatest competition was Michelangelo. And Michelangelo considered himself, if he were to write his own avatar of himself at the time, he would call himself, he was a sculptor. He wasn't a painter. That wasn't even in his list of anything. And he liked doing this. He liked working with marble and all of this other stuff. Would be in his descriptive sculptor of today. But Raphael, he hated Michelangelo. And even though he had been commissioned himself to do several pictures and things in the Sistine Chapel and other places by the Pope, he wanted to ruin Michelangelo. And so he recommended that Michelangelo paint the ceiling on the Sistine Chapel. One, it was just an impossible place to put a painting. And two, he didn't think that Michelangelo was a painter either. Nobody did. And so he figured, man, yeah, all right. If I can talk him up and convince the Pope that, man, Michelangelo's the dude, he's the guy, he's the one that can do this job. He's gonna flop on his face, and he'll be ostracized, and he'll be the laughing stock of Italy. And I'll be the greatest, and I'll get to do all the rest of this stuff for the Pope, and anytime he wants something done, he's going to call me. And so Raphael had a very me mentality, and he was trying to destroy Michelangelo. And Michelangelo, well, obviously, he did a great job, really ticked off Raphael. But he always considered himself in his avatar as the sculptor. And it is said, and I can't prove this, I've never seen this, but it is said that he was asked once, how did he come up with, how did he create such beautiful statues out of these gigantic blocks of marble and stone? How did you come up with that? As you chipped away, did you get into it? And what Michelangelo said is he would look at it and he said, "No, I didn't plan it, anything like that. I looked at it and I saw what was inside it, and all I did was let it out." And so that's, uh, I think that's how I feel in my faith, that God sees what's inside us, and he wants to let it out. But As a business owner and an entrepreneur, that's what you want for your vision of where you want to go and what you want to do. And so that third avatar that you're trying to create for yourself, I want you to stop and now picture yourself in that block of marble. And marble is beautiful in its own. But I want you to just see into that marble of that's your what and your why and where you want to go and all of those other things. Look into that piece of marble and see yourself and then describe yourself. And as you go along on your journey, on your avatar journey, on the businessman entrepreneur's journey, that's the person that's the vision that you're going to be letting out. You're not creating him, he's already there. He's there. He's been burning inside you all this time. But now you have to picture him. And you have to smooth away, get away some of a little bit at a time, a little marble here and a little marble there. You're not creating something new. You're releasing something that's already there. And that is the avatar of you. So as you go back to your drawing board, I'm going to set this down for a second. As you go back to your drawing board, day one, this is your avatar. Tomorrow you're going to get day two of the 3 avatars. And we're going to talk about obviously the next avatar. I'm not going to give away too much because the next avatar is really exciting. Out of the 3 musketeers, we've got Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, and different reasons for different things. And I'm just going to use each one of them as talking about the avatars, but there's 3 avatars that are going to, if you create these avatars, you're going to be able to accelerate your business and grow your business in ways that nobody else is doing because they think in one avatar. Okay, there has to be 3 avatars, and that first one, the one that's most important, is the avatar of you. Because if you don't give yourself permission and define who you are and see the vision of your avatar, where you want to go, and let him out, then you won't achieve what you want to achieve. You won't achieve the success or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and unless you do those 3 things in the first avatar is more important than anything else. And that's all I have for you today. So I look forward to bringing you tomorrow's avatar. Remember, avatar number 2, the second avatar, and very exciting. And once again, I want to thank you for purchasing the 3 avatars, and I will talk to you tomorrow.